Hello, greetings, everyone. You know me, at the beginning of these things, I always have this darn thing that pops up that says you're going live, and it says got it. And now I can't find my damn mouse. There we go. I got rid of it. And I want to wish you, if you are a mama, I want to wish you happy Mother's Day. At least over here in the US, it's Mother's Day. I don't know when Mother's Day is elsewhere. I have another friend coming in. Max Freeman is coming. I think we might admit him today. And I am hoping that I'm not herky-jerky. I'm looking in my... how am I looking, guys? Am I looking?
You're fabulous as always.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be Yoga Dude that you heard. And Max Freeman has joined us too. Max, welcome.
I think you have a new skincare regimen.
Oh, you sound you sound horrible.
We're getting double max.
Yeah. I hate it when software companies change the default settings on me, and then I have to change my behavior in response. So thank you for that too.
Okay. So we're gonna start this right now with a video. Now this video is going to make you go, huh? But you know, I have to get Monkman's name in here once or twice a live stream. But Monkman took this video, which I think is fascinating because this is a crazy way for someone to teach us who runs this world. This is just such an odd video, but it's one of those that's like a train wreck. You cannot stop watching it. And you just listen to the words. And it's like, okay, she's dropping some knowledge here. But at the end, our good monk man, Meme Lord, he turned this into something about Epic Cash, and I love it. So while we wait for people to come in, let's start this video. Let me just make sure that I have the volume up on it. And I'm glad I checked. I do. All right, so bear with me. I'm going to screen share, and this is about a 3-minute video. Okay, do you see that there? Let me pull this down here. I'm going to hit play and pay attention, folks.
You think runs the world? Girls!
There's no sound.
Not even close. Since
There's
the
on mine.
1970s,
Okay.
2 corporations have gobbled up most of the Earth's companies. Vanguard and BlackRock. And you might be like, Tony, that's ridiculous. I go to stores all the time and I see competing brands everywhere. The market has genuine competition because I can buy this or that or this or that. But all publicly traded companies have boards where the largest shareholders make the decisions. So when we investigate who are the largest shareholders of all these companies, the same 2 companies keep coming up. Vanguard and BlackRock. These 2 mega corporations own all the smaller corporations, so we have a monopoly inside of a monopoly. Vanguard and BlackRock own Coke and they own Pepsi. They own Apple and they own Android, i.e. Microsoft. They own American Airlines, they own Delta. They own oil and they own solar. They own eBay and they own Amazon and they own the car companies and the pharmaceutical companies and the tobacco companies, the food companies, the clothing companies, the insurance companies, the banks, 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 the banks. No matter what industry, the top shareholders are the ones making the decisions. Call me a dingleberry, but if you own all the competing companies in the free market, then I don't think the market is all that free. But who are they? The CEO and founder of BlackRock is Larry Fink, but then BlackRock has a board. The largest shareholder is Vanguard. And who's in Vanguard, you might wonder? Nobody knows! Yeah, I guess it's just private information. Probably the richest families on the planet, like the DuPonts, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Bushes. Bush. And P.S., if the division of companies is an illusion, then what does that say about the division of nations? Rich people don't need passports when they travel on their private jets. Borders are meaningless to the elite except as a tool of nationalism to pit us against each other. And we all know corporate dollars go into politics, and if all those corporations are owned by the same people, that means both political parties are definitely owned by the same people. So how do we stop it? Well, I actually have the answer. All we gotta do is use Epicash.
Oh, Monkman, we love you.
That is exactly right. We are the solution.
That is exactly right. We are superior money.
That is why we built this.
That is why we built this, and I couldn't be more excited. Gentlemen, so where do we start here? Bitmart. I'm just going to hand it over to you, Max, because we had a good conversation last night. You and Yoga did, and we had a show on Friday about governance and Bitmart. You know what? Let me just hand it to you. Give everybody kind of the macro background and what the decisions are that need to be made and how you feel about it. And Yoga, you too.
Yeah. So I posted a poll today in the main group asking about the depth of everyone's crypto experience. I remember back in the day, 2017, 2018, it was just the way that it was done. A new asset would come out, and then it would get on one exchange, and then it would get on another exchange, and then we get on another exchange. Oh my God, you think they're going to go on Coinbase? And that was kind of like what a big thing in the market was all about. Was like, imagine you're a toothpaste manufacturer and you need to get your product on the shelf out into different store networks. Essentially, exchanges are like authorized resellers, banking industry, financial institutions for crypto networks, and they act as gatekeepers. And they had a firm stranglehold on things because it was so complicated to deal with all this advanced blockchain stuff, and people don't want to do it themselves. I met with my personal trainer yesterday. Hey, I've owned some Bitcoin and Ether for 2 years, and it hasn't really done much for me. Oh yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, I just leave it sitting on Coinbase. You know, he's my trainer, and I'm sitting there working out, and I'm telling him about, I'm sorry, man, but they took your money, bought coins, and gave you an IOU for coins. You don't actually own any crypto. What you have is a claim check, an IOU for coins that they bought with your money. And guess what? They lent those coins out to others. So you think you're getting one over on the man, ha, 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 I'm going to this new financial system outside the banks. No, guess what? They completely control it. They got you again, even worse this time, because those two networks are surveillance chains, as we know. So that was very eye-opening for him. Brandon, if you're listening, welcome to the community. I saw him in the help desk, and maybe even Freeman, you getting going. So one person at a time, we're making this journey. Thankfully now the technology is out there. Veet is an amazing resource. People that don't understand that it is not trying to be Coinbase. It is a decentralized exchange. It is unique technology and has been improving miraculously over the 2 years that we've been fortunate enough to be connected to their world, and we look forward to continued growth. But the fact of the matter is, if you want to sell toothpaste and you want to have people be able to buy your toothpaste, and people still go to Walmart to buy, then you kind of have to have your toothpaste there, and you got to go to Bentonville and kiss the ring. So basically, the history of this whole thing is that we launched the network in September 2019, and we said, no, we're not going to go pay for centralized exchanges. I mean, these guys were asking hundreds of thousands of dollars. I kid you not. If they will even take your business, they want hundreds of thousands of dollars. This was back then. Binance was charging $5 million back in 2017. So essentially, these gatekeepers are taking pieces of the pie. And as you've seen, things like SafeMoon and Pancake Swap, and as all the like dirty behind the scenes deals of these like quote decentralized networks and the whales and private sales and VC KYCs behind them, and it's just a dirty game, and a lot of it is based on just predatory behavior that takes advantage of people. And so we said no. We resisted that temptation, and rightfully so, for a long time. Only in 2021, when as new people came on board, and in fact, Uncle, it was part of, I remember our conversations. You shaped my thinking on this, going, we have to have an easy button. This is complicated for people, and they want an easy to use method. The fact that we feel people should use decentralized tech directly, well, that's our judgment, but we should at least offer them the option. Okay, how do we do that? So I probably personally talked to over 100 exchanges. I know the field very well. I've had many conversations and have a good grasp on what's going on. Bitmart made sense for a lot of reasons. It's a solid infrastructure. It's a company that is not going to vanish overnight, at least hopefully. You never know. With anything centralized is always at risk. The CEO of Kraken on Twitter the other day said, hey, these guys have a gun to our head. We could be dead at any time. Pull your coins if you're concerned about that. And I respect him for doing that. So with that little asterisk, it's definitely not a fly by night, here today, gone tomorrow type of setup. The cost was substantial. I think it was 50 grand, something like that. And that's just one component of the overall picture of the cost.
Can I share with you?
Mm-hmm.
It was 50 grand. And at that point in time, the listing agreement, did not have anything else in it. There was nothing about market maker standard, or whatever. So it was just $50,000.
Bait and switch.
And remember, back we were going to list in when was the first time we were going to list?
September. We did it in September, and they were supposed to do it in December, and then they got hacked and they pushed it back.
They got hacked, and then all their resources went to serving the hack.
I actually met. Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I actually met the CEO of Bitmart in person. That was a part of what gave me confidence to even, say, okay, fine, I'm going to go along with this thing, because everybody knows how I feel about decentralized versus centralized. But I think what we've got now
but I just want to be clear on a point, okay? Because back then, it's like I just kept hearing everybody say that the reason why we can't scale, the reason why we aren't mooning, that we aren't actualizing our potential, is because we don't have an easy way to onboard people. People are used to exchanges. People are comfortable with KYC. There are way more crypto holders out of the 300 million who know how to get on, an exchange that requires KYC and be able to purchase. So, we looked at that, and Max, you did your homework, and ultimately Bitmart became an opportunity. It was 50 grand. We did a community fundraise, and frankly, there was not much support there. And so two of us, I'm one of them, and I'm not saying this to be able for a self pat on the back. I'm just saying this because as we move forward, I want you guys to know that I invested half in that, 25 grand, and my buddy did the other. So to make it a non-issue, so that we didn't have to do the community fundraise. And that was at a point in time to where I was exiting out of a lot of other coins and stuff, and I could. And so I was happy to do that, and did. And I'm still happy I did it. But understand, I looked at the listing agreement, and there was nothing in there, nothing that had anything to do with a market maker and levels of exchange that you have to commit to, which requires a market maker. Nothing. But after their hack, and once we got into the new season or the new year, then everything changed to get them to engage. Now, that was the time when there's a retrace, and we were getting all kinds of shit out there about, you know, E3 isn't launched and we didn't get on the Bitmart exchange. Nothing that had to do with us, you know, honestly.
And the big thing, Uncle, to your point,
Yeah.
the big thing was like not being on Bitmart seemed like that is the thing that's stopping us from being $100. That
Yeah,
was the
exactly. Meanwhile, we went from when I started covering it, 18 cents to an all-time high of 685, and it was just on Vite. And it's amazing now that we've been on Bitmart and we've had that opportunity for it to settle and resonate a little bit. I love seeing in the chat how many people are saying how much they love Vitex or Vitex. You know, it's really interesting, right? It's all perspective. I happen to love Vitex too. Once you figure it out, once you learn how to ride that bike, it's preferred. And I love the fact that it's not KYC. I went over on Bitmart and I went through the process and everything. And, you know, I thought that I put in sell orders, like it, you know, $10, $20, $30, $40, you know, just thinking, hey, you know, here's an opportunity to take a little off the table. Guess what? Every one of my coins is back.
You know why we didn't pump like that? Just so you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you know, but for the benefit of those listening, like you remember what was that one, Dero, or that one where you got your face shot off by the Berwick scam?
Yeah,
like,
Daryl.
Yeah. So basically, like the pump and dump mechanics are you do a lot of marketing to gin up demand and go get everybody excited. Oh my God, new listing, go buy. Remember how they were trying to strong arm us into like trading competitions and incentives and purchasing competitions and stuff like that. You know, like reminds me of like a heroin dealer on the like playground. Here, kid, you know, here's your first little taste free. You know, just try it. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's how I see this.
My final point. I just want to book in this. But then when we came up to on the 18th, we were going to list on the 21st. On the 18th was when they came to us and they said, well, you're not going to list unless you or you need a market maker. We had a conversation with them, Max. You were on the phone and you were like, no, we don't need one. We have smart community members that can figure this out. And they're like, no. Not you need one, or we don't list. And you know what? We have a lot of projects ahead of you. So it really was a decision, gun to our head decision, to where we had to come up with 3 months in advance for the market maker, which gets us through the beginning of next month, which has been paid for. And then there was some other shit that they required as well. And so
it's death by 1,000 cuts. Yeah.
That's where we're at, everyone. It's like mission accomplished. We heard the community. We need to be on a centralized exchange. And that was, you know, you guys know who I'm talking about, you in there who were the biggest ankle biters on why haven't you guys done this? You guys done that? And so here we are. We're on a great decentralized exchange and we're on a great centralized exchange. The point we're at right now is we are still undiscovered because we have not kicked in the marketing engine, which we covered on the show Friday. Go back and listen to that, and you'll see that we have a real nice opportunity, if the community rallies behind it, to really be able to impact awareness of this precious asset we know as Epic Cash. Okay, I'm done, Max. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all great stuff. So I just pulled up our listing on CoinGecko. I prefer CoinGecko to CoinMarketCap, but they're both good. So anyway, default behavior. Okay, 300 million people are into crypto. I was talking to a guy from Ethiopia yesterday, and oh, how long you been into crypto? Tell me about your investing strategy. You know, like it reminds me of you when you first started in crypto. You know, he's got this grab bag of stuff. Like, you know, I'm like checking his thinking. Okay, wonderful. Like, glad you're here. Good start. Let me help you. What's that?
I'm diversified. That's what.
Yeah, Yeah, and just like it's like if you want to catch fish, you got to go where the fish are, and so we can't shift the Overton window too far. People's understanding level is where it is. I've been living, breathing, sleeping, eating crypto all day, every day, 16 hours a day for 6 years. And if you've only been in 2 years and only pay attention 15 minutes once in a while, filthy casual or something, then that is, your level of understanding, and that's wonderful. And so anyway, optically, like when somebody goes, there's 19,000 digital assets. When somebody looks us up on one of these sites, CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, CoinPaprika, Messari, whatever their favorite one is, if they see only one exchange that they've never heard of, and they don't know that VTEX is not like all of the others. Oh, it's not on Binance. It must be a piece of garbage. Oh, okay. Those guys are too poor to pay the fee. It doesn't have Andreessen Horowitz behind them. Must be trash. Ha, ha, ha. That first look, I can't tell you how many times people hit our page and they're like, you know what? It's a shitcoin. Like, I'm not interested. And then you take the time, you go talk to them, you go, please consider the depth and substance of our offering, and go take a look at our white paper and our community and our GitHub and our blah, 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 blah. And if that's the big question that most of them don't. And this is why I think Bitmart is so smart. And I'm glad you and Mr. P stepped up on this, and why we're going to turn lemons into lemonade here. That person 9 times out of 10 hits the CoinGecko page, sees one exchange they don't know, and goes, you know what? Piece of shit, not for me. Yep. I'm going to go to the number 973 instead of 972.
Max, I talked about it on Friday, but that's an example of third-party validation. CoinGecko, when people go see that and they see Bitmart and they're like, oh, that's a major exchange. That's third-party validation. They go there and they don't see Bitmart. That's third-party validation.
And also, yeah, and there's and this is great. I'm glad we're doing this, because this is valuable, or revealing on so many levels. It's also like, I look at Bitmart as infrastructure. So with VTEX, it only has liquidity on BTC. So if you want to trade Epic, you got to use BTC, which is slow, expensive. Like, are those Russian coins? Oh, we can't take those anymore. Like, there's all kinds of problems with BTC. Whereas if you have some, any one of the 500 coins that that Bitmart offers, and you want to buy some Epic now, you can swap out of those 500 other coins and into Epic easily, and you would not as easily be able to had we not done that. So we've made a major leap forward in terms of infrastructure availability, the option to use these things. Incidentally, someone in the chats mentioned, thank you for this. Let me see who that was.
Cody.
I think it was Cody James. Yeah, Cody James. Thank you. Said, I thought Epic was about privacy, and I wanted to touch on this for a second, because that's like saying, the internet believes this or whatever. No, the internet is a neutral tool used by people for whatever. Epic is a neutral tool that happens to have confidentiality because it needs to maintain its function. And the fact that most of us happen to value our privacy and don't like KYC doesn't mean that we should deny people the use of certain tools because of how we feel about, oh, you shouldn't use a KYC centralized exchange. Like, we would be injecting our values onto people, and that would be wrong and limiting and self-defeating on many levels. So thank you for that, Cody. So we've made a major step forward in terms of infrastructure, in terms of optics. We've reduced reasons for people to take a first look at us and go, no, not interested. We've also made it so that when they do look and get interested, that they have easier, more ways to participate. Having more choices cannot be a bad thing. And so anyway, this market making thing was the last minute curveball. All it means, the $3,000 a month is not from Bitmart itself. They require that there is a pool of inventory on the exchange to buy and sell. I think it was like 15,000 Epic and $15,000, something like that. Incidentally, if we were on Bitmart or not Bitmart, Binance or one of these other bigger ones, it would be like millions upon millions of dollars. So this is small beans, just so everybody knows. But basically, the reason Bitmart insists on it is because they want to have a buyer when somebody wants to sell and a seller when somebody wants to buy. You have to find the other side of the trade. As James Freeman always correctly points out on Veet, oh my God, the spreads are too high. The spreads are too high. Like, you know, that is a genuine issue. And what is the solution? It's a mature market with independent people coming in there of their own volition to trade their assets because they can make a spread. What we've seen here, I invited Johnny from Avalon. I don't think he'll be able to join us. I'll check the chat later and see if we can. But Todd worked in Goldman Sachs, the deep bowels of their trading systems, architecture creation teams for many years. I know lots and lots about this field. Financial engineers will find ways to harvest what they call alpha out of markets, all kinds of ways, if there is the ability to do so and a profit there to sustain them. And so what I wanted to do today is to not just explain the situation, but also put out a call to the community that if you know how to run algorithms to do market making on an exchange, whether it's Bitmart or VTEX, or maybe you're familiar with Injective or Orion or any one of these other newfangled things. There's another one I can't recall the name of off the top of my head right now. But we definitely have the skills and knowledge and capability within our community to meet the Bitmart requirement, because if we don't do the market making somehow, or if the market making is not done by someone, let's say, it doesn't matter how that happens, just that it happens, then they're going to delist, and that makes sense because of they want to preserve their customer experience.
And Max,
So
let me just stop you. And when they delist, that's a bad look.
Oh, you have no idea. That's even worse than not getting listed at all. Yeah. In for a penny, in for a pound. Like there's, you know.
And also had someone, Luke, said, do you know how much it'd be to list on KuCoin? Because Cody James said that it would be awesome if we were on there. And so I did a little research, and it's 100,000 to list on KuCoin. So this is the deal, everyone, is it's pay to play. If you are not one of the majors, right? If your market cap is under, let's call it 500 million, you know, you are
100 million.
100 million. Okay. You are going to have to,
it's not firm, but about there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 100 million or whatever. So, you know, we started getting close to where they may come and say, we'll list you. So this isn't a forever thing for Epic Cash, but we're talking about right now, I could care less if we are ever on another KYC exchange at all. We're on one. And frankly, that's enough.
That's enough. Absolutely. And you know what? The people who are saying, oh, you should go do this and that, get on another exchange. Well, guess what? It's another $3,000 a month fee and another pool of capital to support it. I'll tell you what, Pirate Chain, no disrespect to the pirates out there. I'm sorry you fell for what you fell for, but that is not a real market. When I look at the volume bars underneath the pirate price action, there are specified people. I mean, Uncle, you're in the market maker chat, McMurphy, Yoga, like you see in there, like if you control these bots, you can make the price whatever you want. You can make the volume whatever you want. You want to rip your subscribers' eyelids off and create a pump when you release a new pick for the second time, you can do that. And so we've seen this with MWC. Great tech, unfortunately, you know, fell prey to the lure of shitcoinery and the quick buck. And it was eventually, you know, 320 million when they launched, and we were 30 grand. And it was looking like they were really smart, and we had the solid long-term the solid long-term mindset, and they were more short-term minded. And now look at where we are. Same thing with Pirate Chain. They were 2.4 billion. Where are they now? Where are we now? So in this game, slow and steady wins the race. We want to have an organic, natural market, even if, as James correctly points out, the spreads are wide. That's because they should be wide. That's a natural market. We don't want an artificial, fake monopoly within monopolies, Potemkin village appearance of competition. We want, excuse me, genuine competition. And so at our current market cap, even at, let's call it order of magnitude, $10 million, there's a lot of money there on the table for people to arbitrage spreads. I know Litago has been arbitraging, Robert has been arbitraging, Stellar, VTEX. Now, like if you're sharp and know how to do this, you can create an income stream for yourself. If it's 91 cents over there and 93 cents over there, well, hey, buy and sell, arbitrage. That's what it's all about. I mean, there were enormous fortunes. Renaissance Technologies built $100+ billion empire on the basis of picking up fractions of a penny a millisecond faster than the other guy. And so we want to create a condition, a market environment where those guys, those type of guys, have an incentive to come in and play and bring their skills to work, not create an artificial environment that's manipulated. Because guess what? What's going to happen to the price of R on Trade Ogre if and when somebody stops paying their X $1,000 a month? Tell me this. But what's going to happen to us, because people are using VTEX and they're using Stellar and they're using this and they're using that. Robert's got multiple bridges on different chains coming. We're going to have all kinds of options. And so anti-fragility and resilience, sustainability, like in the short term, it looks like a smarter play, but in the long term, we're much better served by having a multitude of options and failure resistance. One of our pools just decided to call it quits, which is a darn shame. Epic Mind, those guys, I loved their interface. I don't know what happened, but because we went from 3 to 4, it's not such a, or 4 to 3, it's not such a big deal. Imagine if we only had one pool, that would be game over. And so redundancy, failure proofing. My 2-minute timer is up, so I'm going to hand the mic over to you.
Yeah. I'd like Yoga, if you don't mind. I see you in the chat. Can you give us your insight?
Yeah, my insight is pretty simple. I mean, look, Bitmart has certain rules that they play by, right? So they want a point spread maintained. They want a certain level of activity maintained. Okay. First of all, is the situation ideal? No, and we're not denying this. This is the first thing that I want to make sure, because sometimes, we get folks, especially the ones that tune in like once every 6 months. Folks tell us that we're kind of out of touch and we're focused on emphasizing the positives and ignoring the negatives.
Right.
We are very, very painfully aware of the negatives. Okay. We'll live in the project, 16 hours a day plus. So there's really no delusion. There is really no, we're not fooling ourselves. We're facing the situation as it is objectively. Max, you want to mute your mic a little bit?
Yep, sorry.
No problem. So that said, we do realize, and somebody said, well, are we trapped? We're not trapped. Okay. The thing to understand here is, how do we satisfy the requirements of maintaining a listing, through either, some of our community people running market making, or some of our community members, participating in this process. We have a lot of smart people here. While the other half of the equation is creating this awareness that we are on Bitmart, okay? Because as much as the people were yelling that we must be on a KYC exchange, that, oh my God, we must have Bitmart. And I remember these, and Uncle,
yeah, of course,
everybody remembers this, because we had to address the desire of the masses. Suddenly, once Bitmart went live, all of those people disappeared. Every single one of them disappeared.
And by the way, to prepay the 3 months of market making, we did a community fundraise of which 40 people participated. We see the list because we know who we need to send the EIOUs to. So it was so interesting that none of the people that were ankle biting or saying you should do this, not one effing one of them donated. So here are the people that were screaming the loudest.
Right.
You know, it's so funny how this is. Sorry, I need to rant, but it's now I have a patience level of a gnat with people who say you should do this. Get in your heads, people. If you're going to address the community, speak in the we term, right? We, because you are part of the we. There is no you. There is no you guys. It's we.
And Uncle, to your point, and I agree with you. To your point, also, we get folks that jump in, and again, I'm just numb and jaded to this, but I do periodically address this because I've seen this in Bitcoin, I've seen this in Monero, I've seen this in Ethereum, I've freaking seen this in Doge. Okay, you know, folks check in and they do the Siegel thing or whatever, and then this is what's interesting. As soon as you get some level of coherence, as soon as you get some level of culture in the community, and culture, by the way, is not a bad word, okay? A lot of these things are not, I know cancel culture tells us that culture is a bad word, but it's not a bad word. A unified community is not a cult, okay? But we get accused of being a cult. We're being accused of being, you know, well, if you're not with us, then you're against us. We're not approaching it this way, but the parallel that I use, and I know some of you have seen this, is really simple. Bunch of people in a boat rowing somewhere towards a goal, okay? And rowing is, if you guys have done this, rowing takes energy. It's not like the easiest thing in the world to do, okay? So it is natural for people who are doing all the rowing to be a little bit resentful towards the other people in the boat who are just sitting there and not rowing while other people are doing the rowing for them. But what's even more annoying and are the people who are trying to row in the opposite direction. Okay, so you can call Apple a cult, you can call Tesla a cult, you can call any successful business, any successful. We're living in the cult of America, or somebody's living in a cult of England, or somebody's living in a cult of, you know, whatever. Okay, tribalism is real, and people bound by common interests who are working together, who are not being dysfunctional and destroying their society are, you know, I mean, it is what it is.
Can I show you? Can I show you a bunch of cults all put together at once?
Is it NASDAQ?
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Microsoft's a cult. Apple's a cult. Facebook a cult. Amazon. This is from Cinco de Mayo. Thank you, Max. But this just shows people who are hang dog about Epic price. Look, it's a bloodbath out there worldwide. Sorry, I just wanted to.
No. That's kind of the thing there. So going back to Bitmart, the example there is, look, Bitmart in reality, I mean, when people were saying like when you should be on a KYC exchange, I agree with that. We all agree with that. It is an incremental benefit because people that use KYC exchange generally are different than the people who do not like KYC at all. Okay, so by getting on a KYC exchange, we didn't think we were going to cannibalize our Vitex relationship and our Vitex volume, which, by the way, we did not. So that gives us exposure to a whole new segment. Now, that whole new segment does not magically appear overnight. Those people don't know we exist. I was at the Bitcoin, 2022 in Miami, and all those Bitcoiners didn't know that. Well, a lot of them didn't know that there's even other crypto besides Bitcoin. They're sort of like AOL users who thought that AOL was the internet. But once actually approached and told about it, a lot of them were very positively interested in it. So to me, the way I look at it is, while we're working on getting Bitmart to essentially become a realization of the original promise of what was supposed to be, we need people's participation in the process through, if nothing else, awareness creation. That doesn't cost you a penny, okay? Every time, like Elon Musk said, every time he's on the crapper, he tweets, okay, and he moves, millions of opinion, okay? It doesn't take a lot of time for somebody to participate. And Cody, to your point, tribalism is not just a part of crypto. Tribalism is part of being a society. Society is just a very big tribe. So it's not a dirty word. It's not a bad word. It's nothing to be ashamed of, okay? And for some reason, the thing that people are trying to get people to be ashamed of is participation, which blows my mind. But then again, I think that comes with a society that gives participation medals, that people
Well, in a society of entitlement,
and that's the outlying result. People that get medals for not participating feel equally entitled to weigh in as people who, sweated and worked their butts off, to take the first place. Suddenly, when Elon wanted to buy Twitter, there was all these nobodies who wanted to weigh in their opinion on how a man who earned billions should spend his billions. I mean, Uncle, if somebody comes to you, and tells you what your backyard should look like, in a house that you bought with your money, I think you might take a dim view of this person,
Yeah, it's called my HOA.
Oh, well, there's that.
But you signed that agreement voluntarily with the HOA. This is different. These people are coming in here and telling us, "Hey, you should do this, you should do that."
That's true.
I find this whole thing fascinating. It's been a wonderful learning experience, so that people see, people come to me all the time. Why don't you go do this? You go do this. Are you kidding me?
It's the magic somebody.
Grab an oar and row.
Right. And it's not even you, it's somebody, because they don't make it personal, because that would require responsibility, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the magical somebody. It's like, why doesn't somebody do this or somebody doesn't do that?
By the way, speaking of somebody that does put a row in the water, I'd like to invite Izzy on, Islo. Izzy, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Good morning. It's
hey, man.
Mother's Day. Hey, Yoga. I love your comments. I love Max's comments. I love Todd's comments, and clearing up the whole thing where I was like, yeah, I totally thought we paid for the market makers for at least a couple months. And so thanks for clearing that up, that we did indeed do that.
Yes, we did.
And it's already coming up on those couple months. Time flies.
I know that is the thing, unfortunately, and in my terminology, sorry, everyone, but it's my channel. These market making fees are an unflushable turd. We're going to have to either pay them or be delisted, or we're going to have to be able to have some smart people in the community figure out how to go in there and be able to fulfill the obligations. And those people who are thinking, oh, I don't support anything that's going to make Bitmart money. Bitmart's not even getting it's not an agreement between us and Bitmart. It's between us and the market maker who knows how to keep Bitmart from delisting us. So that's the service that they're providing. And so absent that service, we get delisted, and that's a bad look. And rewind to the beginning of this show and listen to it again. Sorry, Izzy.
No, well, and that's a really important thing. And listening to all this, I'm thinking, how do we escape that situation? What is our escape velocity? And it goes to volume, right? Like Bitcoin, Ethereum, probably a number of coins have their own natural organic volume that is meeting Bitmart's requirements.
Excellent
and
point.
So we know that's a goal of Epic Cash. We know that's on our roadmap, and that's one of our milestones that we'll hit when we have things like ECR and EUSD in full swing. Then there will be a natural demand for people to want to go and exchange Epic or exchange green cash for Epic so that they can participate in the broader ecosystem, and that's part of it. There's a couple other points I have, but that's
sure.
As far as recent events, it is this matter of early fledgling growth and getting to a point where we have volume, and in the meantime, kind of weathering a storm.
Hey, Max,
Yes,
you were
sir.
talking to me yesterday, and then you also sent me a picture of that cannon firing this morning, 3 different levels. I'm gonna find that and screen share it. But I want you to just kind of you've been really, really motivated and energetic because you work on a lot of things that we all don't know about, and you have a lot of conversations on a lot of different projects. And so why don't you give us a little bit of insight on why you're feeling so good these days? Because dang, we're at $1.
Yeah.
And I found it. So I'm going to
Okay.
be able to screen share as you let me screen share it so that you can kind of speak to it as, okay, there we go.
Yeah, so this is there's I think about maybe 10, 20 years ago, something within that time frame, I remember first seeing this and going, wow, that's amazing. There's these automated artillery systems. I think they can actually, I couldn't find one that did 5. I remember it sticking in my mind, but basically it can fire 5 shells. One that does high and then slightly lower angle, lower, lower. And so if you shoot the projectiles in such a way that they all hit at the same time, that can be pretty powerful. And so I sent you that image yesterday and I was like, man, uncle, you know, I know the sky is falling and we're all going to die in this and that, but I got to tell you, I feel like we've been lobbing shells in the air for years here, and they're about to start landing. So it's going to get interesting. There's all kinds of stuff going on. You know, I'm always the type, like, perfume should not announce itself. It should wait to be discovered, and quiet strength, and you know, all that type of stuff. But there's just so much going on, progress on so many levels. I remember talking with Yoga, the original, some time ago. Remember, I don't know, maybe it was like 2020, something like that. What is now the roadmap, the subway map with all those different things in there. We were like, okay, you know, this is a 6-year plan. We're going to need all this stuff to fulfill the potential of Epic. We're going to need decentralized exchange. We're going to need these types of stable coins. We're going to need social equity. We're going to need governance. We're going to need all this and that. Okay, we're going to have 6 years to build that, or whatever it is, 7, 8, until the singularity. From the beginning, I've always thought personally in terms of the singularity long-term view. And Yoga said, you know what, like, these guys are making some crazy decisions. Like, the world's falling apart. The wheels are coming off. We need all this stuff now. Like, any way we could push it faster. And so we're like, okay, maybe 6 years. Like, could we do that in 6 quarters? And now I look at it, and I look at my desk here and what all's going on, and I'm like, oh my word, the tech exists, the people exist, the things are happening. There's a lot happening now. It could all manifest quite a bit sooner than we thought. So I just laugh. I remember when we were at a half a cent, and the same type of voices are saying the same type of things. You know, oh, sky is falling, you know, just unplug, and only 99% left to go, ha ha ha, you know. And it's like, all right, that's why I like that Babe Ruth meme that Miyamoto made, just pointing at the fence. Is it true that the developers of Epic were talking about $1,000 back at under a penny? Yes, they were. Go check the chats, you know. And here we are today, and trillions the new billion. So we got to adjust for inflation. I mean, there's just so much funny money out there. There is only 14 million Epic, and we have survived all kinds of adversity. We've been gaining strength on so many levels. There is easily 10 times more happening now than 6 months ago. It is just unbelievable. It's my view and my vantage point. The view is different from where you sit, of course. The things that people are discovering now. Okay, 2,000 people in the main channel, and many of them came within the past few months. Oh, wow, this Epic thing, this is great. I just discovered it. This is amazing. Well, guess what? Those things that you're finding amazing were taking years and years to put together. And because I've been involved, I know about the things that are coming in the future years. And it's all kinds of amazingness. So crypto as a whole got up to $2 trillion in market cap, or $3 trillion. Now it's down to 1.5 or something. It's going to go to 10 trillion over the next 3 to 5 years. Rocky road along the way, of course. We absolutely are going to get our major chunk of that. And so we need to look past these short-term issues. You stub your toe in a marathon race. You don't quit. You just figure out, you know, what to do to keep going. determination and willpower and community spirit and focusing on integrity and principles and what's right has served us well, and it will continue to. And success is like rust; it accumulates over time. We are doing all the right things, and we're continuing to. Exponents are meeting exponents. Reed's law, Metcalfe's law. It's going to be a wonderful next couple of years for us.
You know what,
It really
Max?
will.
You know what, Max? I'm just gonna put this out there. Okay. This is one of those things to where I probably shouldn't, but I am. But let's make a decision right now. You can say no, or we can say yes. But this coming Friday on our live stream is going to be a fun one, and I would like to make it double fun. So we're going to reveal the Diego puzzle to the community, and tell you where you can go get started. That's going to be a blast. Okay, we're going to talk about that. It's just going to be a wonderful community builder. But I would also like, you know what we've been working on so hard, this 5-minute investors video. I would like to give the community a peek at that so they know what is going out to these major projects out there at the highest C-suite level, except I'm going to ask Spencer to cross out the contact information on the last page. Are you open for that?
Sure.
I think it'd be great. So everyone, this coming Friday, we're going to give you a peek in the barrel. You know how it's easy to do things hard and it's hard to do things easy? I will tell you, we have gone through the process, the sausage making process of literally on a Sunday, having an interview with Mars Callahan, with Mike Mumolo, with Max. I'm hosting, and it became over an hour. And we condensed that down to where it was 45 minutes to be able to send to these different projects. Max got an early read from one of the head honchos was, I'm never going to be able to get my team around to be able to consider a proposal. They're never going to invest 45 minutes. So it's hard to make things easy. So between Spencer and me this last week, we've been going back and forth on writing a script. And then Spencer, with all of his digital wizardry, and the fact that Mars says, you have an amazing voice, you need to do voiceovers. Well, Spencer did the voiceover, and we have just a few tweaks left, but we're about ready to be able to release this 5-minute video that's going to knock your socks off. It's like an hour's worth of content in 5 minutes that's just so visually beautiful, and your mind will say, I get it. This is gonna work. This is amazing.
And sorry to interrupt, but for those who keep, I get this a lot. Like, you know, what does Trillions have to do with Epic? Epic is the FedEx of Trillions.
Okay, and I've unpacked that in the Epic Cash chat. And just to expound on that, if you've seen the movie Castaway, you think that's that movie about Tom Hanks. No, it's not. It's the movie about FedEx. And the second brand, the sub brand, if you will, is Wilson. Wilson, the basketball manufacturer. And so Wilson is Tom Hanks' friends when he's stranded on the island for 7 years. And so think about the world of cryptocurrency, and there are 6 buckets that we've identified, okay? And each one of those buckets, whether it's over the counter or a centralized exchange or what are some of the other buckets, Max? There are 6, okay? So think of those as 6 Wilsons within that movie, okay? There are multiple competitors who are going to be vying for that bucket to be the Wilson, one of the 6 Wilsons within.
Let me give you an example. So if you're going to talk about crypto, you have to talk about smart contracts, you have to talk about DeFi, you have to talk about Ethereum, of course. But there are 5 categories of challengers that are using different types of technology to go after the $300 billion of market cap that Ethereum itself represents, much more than that when you consider the tokens running on it. So when you have directed acyclic graph, DAG, that's one of the buckets. You have Avalanche and Phantom that are using their technology advantage to really push their performance versus Ethereum. You have proof of stake, Algorand, Cardano, Polkadot, Tezos, Near, and there can only be one of those in each of these categories. If you're going for high assurance, Cadena has a great solution based on proof of work. Solana uses proof of history. Now, there's only 3,600 seconds in the show for the first season, and that first episode is very strategic, of course. And so it's very interesting as we're refining our proposal. There's that great Abraham Lincoln quote: "If I had an hour to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 45 minutes sharpening my axe." And so we've been sharpening and sharpening and sharpening, and now we've got a pretty good axe. And I'm like, oh wait, Mumula, Mike Mumula, he's a like I call him the human whisperer. He's a beast.
Oh,
like he's great at connecting with people. I'm like, you got a hold of who? I don't want to talk until something happens, of course, lest I have egg on my face. But I'm like, oh my God, like those people wouldn't give me the time of day. Like, ha, you shit coin. Wow, you know.
So these people, the cool thing is what we're the total raise is $100 million, but what we're seeking now is 10 million for the pilot and the second episode. And so what is the early mover advantage? If you're Avalanche, or if you are name another one, Max. If you are one of those, and you
Algorand, Ripple,
if you
FTX, Binance,
if you are a couple, if there's a couple of you that fill the bucket and we raise it 10 million, so let's say 2 different companies, right? A and B. If the early mover advantage is that you get written into the storyline from Jump Street, from the very beginning. And it's not like after those 2 episodes, your character or your organization or your coin or your whatever you do is going to expire. No, that's not how these series works. You become the Wilson of trillions. So you become synonymous with trillions. So it is a brilliant way of being able to literally have your investment in the production costs, because that $10 million is for the production costs. It is literally a way for you for decades. Think about how long Castaway has been out. FedEx was brilliant with that marketing move of aligning themselves with that producer. So it's not if this is going to happen, if trillions is going to happen, it is when. And I'm telling you, it is right around the corner. And wait until Friday. We're going to show you Friday. I'm excited about Friday. You get the puzzle and you get the 5-minute investor video, and then you're gonna see. And if that doesn't excite you, then I don't think that you have the capacity to fog a mirror. Because man, I'm with you, Max. That cannon firing 3 different angles. There are so many good things happening right now. It's like, I don't care about the price. The markets are bloody everywhere, every market all over the world.
Well, if you have to sell today, then you have to care about the price. And hopefully people aren't in dire straits that they need to sell their coins at today's number. But if you do, I mean, that just means that Epic is doing its job. It's a store of value. Someone, you know what, even at today's numbers, we outperformed BTC by 50% over the past 12 months. So the market leader, the store of value, the big daddy, this and that, Epic is a superior store of value. It does its job, whether you got Moon and Lambo and made 1,000 extra money or not, whatever. The fact is,
are you cheating there because we went to an all-time high when you say that?
No, I'm talking about today at today's price. Yeah, somebody in the main chat pulled the numbers. A year ago today, if you had held $1,000 in Epic or $1,000 in BTC, you're doing 50% better in Epic. Let's pull those numbers and let's show them on our Friday chat. Maybe
Let's do
McMurphy can
that.
pull that together, because we are a superior store of value, and there are very solid fundamental reasons for that it comes down to scarcity. Guess what? If we go and if we can't control whether centralized exchanges go and list us, we can't control whether they lend out our coins. They will list us, and they will lend out our coins. And that's a form essentially of double spending, which is a huge unrecognized problem in BTC. Just like with paper gold being disconnected from the physical price, there's like 1,000 times more paper gold traded than actual gold that gets delivered. We wanted to keep a high integrity market. We have a much stronger value proposition. Our core scarcity is way better than BTC. I think we have orders of magnitude more upside from here. We really do.
And for those of you who don't know, what happens on Wednesday mornings, Todd Lewis and I, we are reviewing all of the positive attributes, the qualities on our quest for superior money. So we hope you join us at 8 a.m. Eastern time. I know there are a lot of people out there who don't know what Eastern time is and say I should use UST or whatever the heck. I'm not going to do that. I'll say Eastern time, and I hope that there'll be some of you who are in the chats and whatnot that, kind of pile on and let everyone know what that is. Is it UST? I don't know. But
hey, Uncle, real quick, just to provide a data point to what you guys are talking about. I mean, if you go on CoinGecko right now, okay, and you look at Epic, where we are, like at 97 cents or whatever. Okay, here's for posterity. We're up 30% for the last 12 months. Okay, and if you look at Bitcoin, for example, for the last 12 months, they're down 40%.
That's an amazing stat.
That's kind of it. And I mean, Michael Saylor, as amazingly godlike in his prescience he was when Bitcoin was at 65K, he's looking dumber and dumber by the day, because his whole pitch is based on scarcity and today's price of Bitcoin, and nothing else, because there's no tech.
And guess what? He gets liquidated at 21 million or $21,000. So if BTC hits 21K,
his average cost, his average buy-in is over 30K at this point.
Oh, it is?
Is what I'm saying. So his average buy-in, when Bitcoin was at 65 and his average buy-in was at 19K, he was the oracle of crypto land.
Hey,
this happened 20 years ago as well. I encourage everyone to look at the early history of MicroStrategy and what happened 20 years ago.
And as much as, I mean, I don't like talking price, but this is because people keep dragging that up. And that's the reason why I use those 2 data points. That's it. That's a mic drop for me.
That's great. Well, thank you for the mic drop. If anyone in the chat out there is having breakfast, dinner, brunch, or whatever with Michael Saylor, please have him get in touch with us, and we will like him on pivoting his position to the hardest money in the world, and that's not Bitcoin. So, okay, well, it is Mother's Day here, and I'm the chef, so I got to go finish dinner. And thank you. Happy Mother's Day again to all of you in there. And this has really been a pleasure.
Thanks, everybody.
So we'll see you guys back here Wednesday morning for coffee at 8 a.m. Eastern. And then please visit us Friday. It's going to be one heck of a fun show. I can't wait. I usually don't wish my days away, but I can't wait for Friday to come. But I like the Wednesday mornings too. Okay, everyone, have a great rest of the day. Hope this was helpful. Cheers.
Take care, folks.
Looking like an idiot here. You guys know what I have to do.
You need some Jeopardy music, man. You need to just throw some Jeopardy music in there.